Alright, everybody, welcome to the show. My name's Harry James. The selection picks for week 7 of 2017 college football, or at least who I think is going to win and lose, right here, right now. Coming up next, we'll preview the Big 12 Conference first and all the other conferences of college football. Coming up next, right here, Boomer Center 1982. Don't go away! As always, for Boomer Center 1982, my name is Harry James. We'll start in the Big 12. No awkward games for the Big 12, so they'll all start on Saturday at 11 a.m. for breakfast. You can watch 2 games. TCU will be in Manhattan against Kansas State. That one will be on FS1. I'm going to go with TCU in this ball game. Kansas State's still pretty okay, pretty decent, but I just don't think that they're good enough to knock off one of the top contenders in the league. So there's that. Also, speaking of contenders, West Virginia, they're going to try to bounce back against Texas Tech in Morgantown. That game will be on ESPNU. Big 12 games. There's 2 of them. Of course, the 2:30 kicks. With this week being the second weekend in October, you know what one of them is. It's the same weekend it's always been. It's OU Texas. That one will be on ESPN. So I don't pick that game because I don't want to sound like a homer. And so the only other game in this league on FS1, you'll see Baylor trying to finally get on the winning track at Okie State. I'm going to go with the Pokes or the Aggies or the Cowboys in this matchup, being in Stilly. The rest of the leagues around, they'll get started on Wednesday night, I do believe. Yeah, Wednesday night, as University of South Alabama will be at Troy on the ESPN2 network. I'll go with Troy. Thursday night, Texas State will be at ULL. That's University of Louisiana Lafayette. That game will be on ESPNU. I'm going to go with ULL. Friday night games, there's 2 more of these. Clemson will be at Syracuse. That one's on ESPN. I'm going to go with Clemson. Right afterwards at 9:30, the old Pirate man himself, Mike Leach, and his Washington State Cougars will be at Cali on ESPN, Cal Berkeley. I'm going to go with Washington State in this ball game. Saturday, the regular Saturday slates to wake you up and give you the horn and breakfast casserole. A couple of good ones, including Michigan trying to get back on the winning track at Indiana on ABC. I'm going to go with Michigan. ESPN News will have University of Connecticut at Temple. I'm going to go with Temple. The ACC network will have North Carolina State at Pitt. I'm going to go with State. And Florida State at Duke on ESPN2. I'm going to go with Duke. Also in the 11 a.m. kickoff slots, Brigham Young will be at Mississippi State on the SEC network. I'm going to go with Mississippi State. South Carolina at Tennessee early in the morning. I'm going to go with South Carolina. Rutgers at Illinois on the Big Ten network. I'm going to go with Illinois. And finally on CBS Sports Network at 11 o'clock, Eastern Michigan will be at Army. I'm going to go with Arby. You take a little break for some coffee because you got to get back to your seats for an 11:20 kickoff between BC, that's Boston College, as they will be at Louisville on the ACC network. I'm going to go with Louisville. 1 o'clock. In the University of Louisiana, UNLV at Air Force. That's AT&T Network. I'm going to go with the Academy of Air Force. ESPN3 will have ODU at Marshall. I'm going to go with Marshall on ESPN3 at 1:30. The midday games, the mid-afternoon games, the lunch games are as follows. And it'll start on the Big Ten Network. We'll start on the Big Ten Network, I should say. Purdue at Wisconsin. The Badgers. I'm going to go with Wisconsin. CBS will have Auburn at LSU. I'm actually going to go with Auburn in this ball game. Auburn has a quarterback. LSU doesn't. There's the difference there. University of Virginia will be at North Carolina on the ACC network. I'm going to go with the University of Virginia. Opposite of Oklahoma, Texas on ESPN, you can watch the ABC game. And that's, Georgia Tech at Miami. Remember, this is the rescheduled game. This game was supposed to be either week 2 or week 3, but because of the hurricane and all that, they moved it to this weekend on ABC. I'm going to go with Miami. ESPN2 will also have a game at this time. Northwestern will be at Maryland. I'm going to go with the Terps. The SEC game on the SEC network, Vanderbilt at Ole Miss. I'm going to go with Vandy. CBS Sports Network also will have a game. Akron at Western Michigan. I'm going to go with Western Michigan. And ESPN3 will have a bunch of games, including Miami of Ohio at Kent State. I'm going to go with Kent State. Northern Illinois at Buffalo on ESPN3. I'm going to go with Buffalo. Ohio at Bowling Green on ESPN3. I'm going to go with Bowling Green. And finally, Toledo at Central Michigan, ESPN3. I'm going to go with Central Michigan. Back on the regular ESPN family of networks, ESPNU has a game at 2:45 between Navy at Memphis. I'm going to go with Memphis on ESPNU. 3 o'clock, Houston will be at Tulsa on ESPN News. I'm going to go with Houston. Also, Colorado will be at Oregon State on the Pac-12 network. I'm going to go with Oregon State. 3:30, Charlotte will be at Western Kentucky. That will be on the Flow Sports Network. I'm going to go with Western Kentucky. And the Stadium Network will have Wyoming at Utah State. I'm going to go with Utah State and the Aggies. 4 o'clock, Georgia State will be at ULM on ESPN3. I'm going to go with Louisiana Monroe. Finally, at 4 o'clock, also, Appalachian State will be at Idaho State on ESPN3. I'm going to go with Idaho State, or Idaho. 5 o'clock on ESPN3, they will also have a game that time. New Mexico will be at Georgia State. I'm going to go with the University of New Mexico. 5:30 on the BN Sports Network on regular TV. Middle Tennessee at UAB. I'm going to go with Birmingham. The nightcap starts at 6 o'clock, East Carolina at Central Florida on CBS Sports Network. I'm going to go with Central Florida. Our buddy Seth Luttrell and company and his Mean Green will host UTSA. That's Texas San Antonio at North Texas, ESPN3. I'm going to go with North Texas. UTEP will be at Southern Miss on the Stadium Network. I'm going to go with Southern Miss. Conference USA Network will have Tulane at Florida International. I'm going to go with FIU. ESPN2, regular ESPN, regular television, will have the Aggies of Texas A&M trying to bounce back at Florida. I'm going to go with Florida at 6 o'clock. In the final 6 o'clock game this weekend, Coastal Carolina will be at Arkansas State on ESPN3. I'm going to go with Arkansas State. 6:15, big battle of the Big Reds, at least in the SEC. That's Arkansas at Alabama. The Tide. I'm going to go with the Tide, baby. Can't go against the Tide yet, man. 6:30, Missouri will be at Georgia on the SEC network. I'm going to go with Georgia. The Ohio State University will be at Nebraska on Fox Sports 1. I'm going to go with the Ohio State University. 6:30. Also, one final couple of other games. Cincinnati at South Florida, ESPN U. I'm going to go with South Florida. ABC and 7 o'clock. ABC Network, Utah at USC. I'm going to go with Southern Cal, the Trojans. Also, on Big Ten Network at that time, 7 o'clock, Michigan State will be at Minnesota on the Big Ten Network. I'm going to go with the Sparties, Michigan State. 8 o'clock, UCLA at Arizona on the Pac-12 Network. I'm going to go with Arizona. A nightcap does include also a 9 o'clock game with New Mexico at Fresno State on the AT&T Sports Network. I'm going to go with Fresno. ESPN2 will also have nightcap at 9:15. Nevada will be at Colorado State. I'm going to go with or San Diego State. I'm sorry, Colorado State. Yeah, I'm going to go with Colorado State. CBS Sports Network. They're the ones that will have San Diego State, as they will host Boise State. 9:30 nightcap. I'm going to go with San Diego State. 9:15, we'll have a nightcap on ESPN as Washington will be at Arizona State on ESPN. I'm going to go with Washington. Two more for you. Fox Sports 1, their nightcap game at 10 o'clock over out in the Pac-12 networks. Oregon will be at Stanford on Fox Sports 1. I'm going to go with Stanford. And finally, at 10:59 p.m., pay-per-view, San Jose State will be at Hawaii. I'm going to go with Hawaii. All right, guys. That's it for the picks content, the pick'em part of this week. Don't take any of these picks to Vegas with you, because I'm not promising you anything. But if you win, you can always send me some money, baby. I'll be happy to take it. If not, you can always rewatch this as many times as you want on YouTube, Boomer Sooner 1982, on Facebook, Harry James Taylor, or on Twitter. I'll post it at HypeManHarry. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and enjoy this weekend of college football. I'm out of here.